going to cover what you're doing wrong, what you should be doing, and in the end, I'm going to actually sequence it out step by step what you need to do. So stick around until the end. By the way, if you're not subscribed to my channel just yet, please click the subscribe button and do that. So the first thing is that you've got to understand this is extremely competitive. This is like becoming a Navy SEAL. Like, that is how tough this process is if you're going to do it right. Portfolio managers are highly compensated. The other thing is that this is a job that is decreasingly going to be available in the future, because if you look at how the industry is going, portfolio management and asset management are becoming increasingly automated, algorithmic, okay, AI, all of these things. And so the value of someone sitting there and modeling and trading and all of that is diminishing rapidly. So I'm actually gonna tell you in the end how to fight back against them. But the first thing that you have to understand is that most people are not getting jobs in portfolio management, not because they're not qualified, not because they're not smart. And by the way, I used to work in portfolio management. If you follow my channel and you watch my CFA jobs playlist, you know this, that I was an equity research analyst at Lehman Brothers, worked on the buy side for several years. I will tell you that the people that get in are the ones that, you know, have certain credentials and designations, but it's really not about being a CFA charter holder. It's more about, does the portfolio management team have confidence in your ability to make critical decisions? And so I'm going to tell you how you market yourself as being that person when we get to the end. But first, I want to just talk about how badly you have to want this. So a lot of people reach out to me and they say, like, oh, they tell me their story, you know, like, oh, I want to be a portfolio manager, I want to do this, I want to do that, blah, 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 blah. I just graduated, I have this credential, and they think that the credential is really all that matters. It's not. You're talking about multiple millions of dollars. You're talking about high pressure. You're talking about conditions that cannot be predicted, all of this. And so what the person needs to know that is making the decision about you is that not only just are you credible and have the designation, is how well do you think on your feet? How well do you communicate? They think that you're hardworking? Do they think that you have integrity? All of that. So what I'm trying to get at is what you look like on paper is probably a lot less important than you think. I think what's really important, and especially because, like I said, this is becoming more competitive in 2019, is how do you perform? So you have to show people that you're a performer. And how do you do that? So here's the part I've been talking about. Listen up. You need to present yourself as the professional's professional. And you do that by how you reach out to the person. So I'm going to give you a sequence, okay? You don't need a lot of money to get an internet connection. You don't need a lot of money to get a LinkedIn account, okay? These are free resources, but use them right. So make a list. Here's the sequence. Ready? Make a list of 20 companies that you want to work at. So preferably these are companies where you have some kind of a connection or somebody you know that works there, whatever it may be, okay? Low-hanging fruit, probably better than the reaches. 2, get on LinkedIn and send connection requests to the decision makers about portfolio management at that company. Now, here's the thing, you have to send the right LinkedIn message. By the way, I have a lot of videos about that on this channel about LinkedIn, and I also have a podcast. You can follow me. I'm going to link it below if you want, and please subscribe to that podcast that talks all about marketing and how you present yourself. It's designed for financial advisors, but if you're in asset management or want to work in asset management, this also really applies to you because it's the same thing. It's the same skill, okay? Subscribe to the podcast. Now, so when you reach out over LinkedIn, don't send the same old, tired, boring message that is a cliche that every single asset management candidate says, which is, I just graduated from blah, blah university. I just graduated from, NYU Stern with an MBA, or I just passed my CFA level 3 and I wanted to be in touch with you because I want to work at your company. No. You have to approach this from their standpoint. You have to empathize with them and look at them as if they are the hiring manager. And like I said, they want to see somebody who is really a performer. So what you have to show them is that you are effective. And if you communicate ineffectively, like that last message that I mentioned, they're not going to want you. So what you have to say is something like this. I was reading about your company. Based on what I understand, it looks like at some point in the future, my skills may be able to be a valuable resource to your company. I would like to develop a long-term relationship with you. Now, if I'm a company owner or I own an asset management company, I'm a decision maker, that sounds so much more useful and professional than me just coming like, I'm looking for a handout. Hire me, please, please, please. I'm not asking for anything. I'm coming with skills. I'm coming with value. I'm coming with the idea that you don't have to hire me right now. I'm good enough that I'm going to be around here. I'm going to persist, and let's just get to know each other, which is way more reasonable. So that's the sequence, okay? Now, when some of these leads start to hit and some of these people actually start to respond back to you and say, okay, great, let's talk, or they start to respond to the connection request, then you have to go through a whole sequence of, okay, well, then what information do I then put in front of them? And a lot of that, again, is about being that professional and having, you know, what kind of models do you have? What kind of news do you follow? What kind of views do you have on the market? What else are you posting to your LinkedIn newsfeed? Do you understand their business? Can you send them business? Can you send them a referral? Can you talk with them about what, are you following their company on LinkedIn? So there's a sequence that you have to execute after that. And if you want to stay tuned here on my channel, I hope you'll subscribe. Also, like I mentioned in the podcast, I'm going to be talking about some ideas about how to do that in the future as well. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a portfolio manager in 2019, like I said, you're going to be so committed to this that you're going to want to eat from the trash can. Like, that's how hard you're going to grind for this. But I'm telling you that if you do these things that I just described in this video and you're thoughtful about it, then you stand a way higher chance of doing that. So I hope that I'll be seeing you subscribing to my podcast, and stay tuned with me on this channel for occasional, pieces on this in the future. Thanks, everybody.